What's up, Jet fans? Last night, I watched the first round of the NFL draft. The Jets, with the seventh overall pick, Armand Membou, offensive tackle, Missouri. And I thought I'd just give my quick thoughts on this. It's only one player, and for all the hype the draft gets, especially the first round, your Super Bowl fate isn't really decided based off of who you pick in the first round. I think free agency is more important. The later rounds, just getting a bunch of good players when you're not supposed to is a lot very important, and then obviously just what talent you bring in across each season is probably the most important. But the Jets did get an offensive tackle in a very similar situation to last year, where the Jets were either thinking offensive tackle or tight end, and the Jets picked offensive tackle. And they did the same thing this year. Tyler Warren was still on the board. He actually fell a lot. Um, I think he was picked like 16th or something by the Colts, and the Jets might have grabbed him 7th. Um, but they didn't. They went offensive tackle, and right, it is the boring pick, just like it was last year. But I think it's the smart pick. Um, yeah, it's no one cares when an offensive line is absolutely stacked and the quarterback can have a long time in the pocket, but people really care when the offensive line is terrible and the quarterback is getting pressured and the running back is getting hit behind the line of scrimmage. So, right, this is a new administration. They have zero pressure right now. Um, on the coaching staff and the general manager for the Jets, so they can take these boring picks, see if just develop the players. They don't need to be rushed out, right? It's not like we need to protect Justin Fields at all costs. He's not our franchise guy, not yet, anyways. So if he needs to develop, let him develop. If he's an instant starter, even better. Olu Fashino, on his other side, he got to develop a little bit halfway through last year. Was is when he made his first start. And I think if Armand Membou needs to do the same, then fine. If not, great. We have two young offensive tackles. That should last us. People always say a decade. If these two players work out, I say over a decade. These two players should last us. Um, and that is exciting, right? Because I don't know, the decade beforehand, the entire storyline with the Jets is how terrible the offensive line was, um, right? Way before Aaron Rodgers got here, but when Aaron Rodgers got here, we had a we thought Alan Lazard was good, Garrett Wilson was good, Brees Hall was good, so it's like, oh, this offense is stacked. The offensive line is terrible. Um, and then before Aaron Rodgers got here, Sam Darnold was getting pressured a lot. Josh McCown was getting pressured a lot. Um, this offensive line has been bad for a while. So hopefully this pick and last year's pick can fix things. The one caveat I will say with that is, we also drafted Mekhi Becton pretty highly. He ended up working out with the Eagles, but not until he played with the Jets, was very bad, very injury prone. Um, but and the only reason I think the only reason he worked out with the Eagles is because he chose to switch to guard, which he was refusing to do with the Jets. So like, good on the Jets for getting rid of him. Um, but just because you pick two offensive tackles super early in the draft doesn't mean they are guaranteed decade plus stars, I suppose, is my point. But I even when they drafted Mekhi Becton, I didn't like that pick. There was some people who were like, "Oh, this is a weird pick," especially since there was a lot of good offensive tackles in that draft. Mekhi Becton, um, was like they picked him maybe earlier than other offensive tackles who ended up being better than him. So I have not heard that about Armand Membou. I think he was like Mel Kiper's number one offensive tackle or something, or maybe number two. Um, and so I like this pick a lot, but obviously we will see. Will they develop? Um, But if he develops, if Olufashino develops, which he was playing pretty good for a rookie last year, um, we just locked down the two most important positions on the offensive line, which is crazy to think about, considering where the Jets were just a few years ago, and their offensive line was the reason that everything went bad, and people can blame the offensive line for Aaron Rodgers getting injured. But yeah, the offensive line was a massive problem. Now it's not. You got these two guys. You got Elijah Vera Tucker. His contract is expiring soon, but he seems to be pretty good. Maybe a little injury prone. Joe Tipman, I believe, at center, and then I'm not sure who the next guard will be. But I definitely we get the offensive line is not an excuse anymore, I suppose. Especially if Armand Membou ends up working out, like I think he will. But yeah, those are just my quick thoughts. We'll see what happens in the day 2 and day 3 of the NFL draft, today and tomorrow. The big general story, I suppose, is Shador Sanders is still on there. He was thought to be perhaps the number 2 overall pick, and he fell out of the first round. Not even the second quarterback taken. So that will be interesting to see. I wouldn't mind the Jets drafting a quarterback in the third round, but I don't think they should draft a quarterback in the second round. Give Justin Fields some time to develop. Let us reload, right? We were always go, 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 go. Aaron Rodgers is 40 years old. We gotta figure something out with him. I think let the team settle down a little bit. Let this new administration build a team around a solid quarterback, and then if we can do that, then we can bring in a quarterback, um, who deserves to start there. I don't like to start a quarterback right away ever, but bring in a quarterback who deserves to start soon, I suppose, right? Where if you draft a quarterback in the third round, they sit a year, it doesn't matter. They sit 2 years, doesn't really matter. Um, But I think if you draft a quarterback in the first round or the second round, there's lots of pressure. Even though I always think it's a bad decision, there's lots of pressure to start that quarterback right away. And I don't think we need that. Let us settle down a little bit, I think. But yeah, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Goodbye.